Hello, this is Malta Limited and Alexa. Set time for 30 minutes.
30 minutes, starting now.
Golly. So last time, Iran was on the brink, and this time I think we'll be able to turn it over. Also, the Vietnam War has just started. I'm not doing that. Of the Strela 2, you get the SN plus SSH40. President Hoi4 however you say it, reforms the democratic nominee process. In a decisive move by President Hoi4, the process for nominating a democratic candidate has been radically altered to increase the effectiveness of the manner in which democratic presidential candidates are selected. Traditionally, candidates were selected primarily in secret by party leaders, sometimes resulting in selection of candidates who had never run as a delegate in the primary election. The President has put forward a guideline on how a candidate should be selected swiftly and modernizing the nomination process to take into account the will of people and effectively forcing states to select their delegations via presidential primaries. The result of this reform is that the Democratic voter has much larger a role in the outcome than they had previously, and the move has taken a significant amount of power out of the hands of powerful politicians and into the hands of people. It's now clear the future of the Democratic candidate will represent the will of the people. Whether this will have an effect on the future elections remains to be seen. The home of the free just got a bit more freedom. There's a revolution in Iraq. The 14th revolution, so you get including all this, all of that. Which means you go communist. Which either you can preserve martial law and crack down on pirates, or do the opposite. So we get communist, communist to a stretch. It's not really communist, it's sort of like UAR, it's nationalist, or in this case reactionary. Iraq. The 14th of July revolution. The people I am the son of the people. I am the son of the people. I pledge before God that I will sacrifice myself for your sake. I shall offer my life in defense of the Iraqi people. Abdul al-Karim Qazim. The first socialist madness. He's also the first socialist. The start of socialist Iraq. Before he was couped by the Nasserists, who then later couped him by the Baathists. Although the Baathist party was sort of around by then, they were in different stages. Fagerholm holds third cabinet takes power. Or Fagerholm the third cabinet takes power. In Finland, Fagerholm's third cabinet has formed after parliament elections in 1958. The winners of the election was the Finnish People's Democratic League, but it wasn't taken to the government. So the cabinet biggest party, the Social Democratic Party, led by Carl Gustav Fagerholm, particularly concerns for us is the fact that the right wing of the Social Democrats, Väinö Leskinen and Olavi Lindball, are in the government by the support of a war criminal, Väinö Tanner. In addition, the Minister of Agriculture, Niilo Kosala's name is strongly associated with his father, Vittori Kosala, the leader of the Lapland movement in the 1930s. We should voice our concern or keep to ourselves. Voice our concerns to Finnish ambassador, because that's all we can do.
Кто-то там считает, что проблему можно решить цивилизованно.
Send our troops to Finland to increase their willingness, shall we say. Getting road bumps in the mountains. Alright. Next. Introduce pensions for all workers' groups. Article 120 of the Soviet Constitution mandates social insurance for the old, sick, and those physically unable to work. In accordance with this constitution, old age pensions will be extended to all classes of workers, no matter their skill or roles. Operates in heaven. Since the existence of an Indian Burmese state, the remnants of the Yunnan Chinese army, which has retreated to the Burmese borders, have existed in the state in the early 50s. The US support remaining Kuomintang groups. Burma has existed since the Great Retreat, with hopes of containing the Burmese government with the Kuomintang influence. In 1953, the state of Burma appealed to the United Nations to the President of China, Taiwan, to remove the Kuomintang groups of influence scattered in the northeast of the country. Now, only a few of the Kuomintang groups remain. Yeah, they're still there. Increased Finnish pressure. Despite our concerns, Fagerholm III's cabinet is still in power. Shall we pressure them to make sure the government resigns? A more favourable government comes instead? Increase the pressure. Oh, sorry, and the Trudeau Ted Trudeau. God, is it Trudeau? I always say it's like Trudeau, or Trudeau, but Trudeau. I think it is pronounced as Trudeau. Following the failure of Operation Ajax, tension between the Mossadegh regime and the Trudeau flared fierce. Trudeau resistance during the Ajax inspired many into the party's swelling ranks. At this point, the majority of the nation should swell, fearing another coup. Mossadegh would again crack down on the party. Armed police would attempt to arrest primary high-ranking forces within the Trudeau, including members of the 53, only rallying up to the party. Tehran would be swarmed by armed civilians and military forces. Within 2 days, Mossadegh would resign from his position and flee to Turkey. He would probably be arrested. With former leadership gone, the Tehran taken, the Socialist Republic of Iran has been declared. Might take some time. Name change has been declared. Without internal opposition and the moves solidified by the Trudeau party, Iranian across the nation and celebrate the victory with widespread festivals and hold support for the movement. Islamic fundamentalists continue to oppose Trudeau but lack cohesion or popular support, who truly challenged the new regime. For the West, it started plans to save oil profits have led to a communist Iran in place, down with bourgeoisie. So they're now seeking some report, crushing dissidents in the south, and then finally executing the royal family. And soon they will join us. And God will know that communism is true. Nikos Zakaridis executed. The Democratic Republic of Greece, or the LED, something like that, announced the execution of Nikos Zachariadis, the former chairman of was tried in a special court which found him guilty of counter-revolutionary activities, crimes against the people. Nikos Zachariadis led the party during the Civil War in its early years. However, this hardline has proved unpopular amongst reformers and many Greeks. His execution will strengthen the position of the current leader of Marcos Vatius. I don't think that's actually it's not. It's Costa Colleganius. During the Civil War, his execution offers stark warning to those in the party that were sympathetic to Zachariadis, a twist of fate. So, you finish your focus tree? Yeah, you finish your focus tree. So, you have that. You're beginning fertilizer production. You're getting mass raw investments. You're declaring the Bulgarian fully collectivized. You're producing cash crops. You're ending one-party state. You accept common economic planning. You're allowing larger private plots. You're jumping to start heavy industry in Burgenland. You're getting agricultural mechanization. You're purging the Justice Ministry. You're abandoning collective agrarianism. You can't do anything. Unknown. Whereas probably the resistance to de-Stalinization efforts. You are doing a few things. You also had a Sino-Soviet split. You're rebuilding hydroelectric dams. You are still waiting for the 58 elections. Hopeful, mostly the communists to win. I have no idea what you're doing, but it's probably either restoring northern economy or democratizing the regime. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's basically it you can do. Lao is embracing frontal assault tactics. You can't do anything. Yeah, you can't do anything. You can't do anything. Yeah, you can't do anything. You have a new focus tree? No, you do not. At least not till around the 60s. You do have a new focus tree, and you're definitely going socialist. And in Iran, it's already turned communist, although there's still some things need to be done. Hello. You no longer know what focus you're doing. But last I checked, I think it was seek Soviet support. So do this, then this, and I hope it's recording. Alright. Finland gives in, finally. After approaching the Finnish government for several months, it seems like they finally caved in. Reports indicate they have already access to Smith Fagerholm's cabinet and replaced it with a much more pleasant one. Not today, Herr Conan. Good. I think it was the Night Frost crisis. Something like that. Anyway, moving on. President Cavava condemns the Southern Manifesto. In a fiery speech before Congress, American President Este Cavava the public denounced the Southern Manifesto signed in March of 1956 in response to Brown vs. Board in the main base of Southern opposition, the increasingly persistent federal effort at desegregation. His speech was met with reactions varying from praise to accusations of treason, even by members of his own Democratic Party. The president commending himself to the cause of desegregation, tension with those who advocate for maintaining the status quo, increasingly considering Chavez himself now faces widespread opposition from Democrats influencing his party. Though this is partially offset by increasing the support of those in fact civil rights causes, one thing that is certain, however, is the process of desegregation in American society has been greatly sped up by these developments, and the only way and the South may have to embrace the winds of change blowing in their direction. Another blow for segregationism. There we go. Reform for gardening and livestock ownership. During the process of collectivization, farmers are allotted small private plots for their homes. Analysis of our coal costs are repeatedly shown that the private plots became essential for our food supply, though in a return to the days of cool is one out of the question. Expanding the private plots and livestock to improve moral and living in collective farms. Send troops down south to help our buddies out in Iran, if need be. 12 minutes to end the video, give or take. The pillaging of Burma. Reports breaking from Maladey suggest multiple rural towns in Shan and Kachin province have been pillaged, funded by a swindling Kuomintang presence in the country. Multiple Kuomintang groups have operated in eastern states of the country since the end of the Chinese Civil War. Operating exile contingencies of the border, Burmese authorities have no reason to believe the lack of supplies and food could be a justification for a gruesome attack. The people of Burma question why the government hasn't taken first steps for moving foreign bloodsuckers land far in the east, more trouble in the southeast. Yeah, why are you doing it, thanking Tangton? The people need you. You're their socialist liberator. Do something.
До приказа. Выходим!
No, what the heavy word was? No, there's not. The president visits Taipei. The Republic of China and the ruling Kuomintang Party welcomes President visit from America. President Este Cavava visited the capital, being intensely publicized by the island's press, and highlighting the level of international support for the Republic of China can count on its struggle to liberate China. The two countries were expected to discuss expanding defense cooperation, trade, and the regional security environment. President Este Cavava is leading government officials and expected to visit cultural sites across the country. The Communist Chinese government released their own statement condemning the United States and the interference in the internal affairs of China, reiterating that it will soon bring the rebellious island back. In response to the Republic of China, politicians condemned the mainland's engagement and added that the visit legitimizes the Kuomintang government and will help silence critics on its goals. Interesting. It's either going to. So Pakistan may strike Iran or be open to dialogue with them. They are pro us, so I would probably support them over Pakistan. So, okay. Get a health twist on their belts. You're developing New Belgrade, you're containing anti-revisionist movements, you're appointing Floricus to the ambassador of the United Socialist Republics, you're building the super hydraulic dam, you can't do anything. You're expanding light industry, you're emphasizing agriculture, you're ending the one-party state, you're just beginning domestic fighter projects, you're embracing Comic-Con planning, you're expanding mining sector, you're getting the second 5-year plan. You're doing nothing, we don't know, expanding the personality cult for Chang-Ik, no idea, establishing jungle supply hubs, no idea, you can't do anything, you can't do anything. What the hell? Oh wait, that was a runaway at the top. Something strange happened. I have no idea, but last check you're doing this, so it's more likely you're doing this by now. So we're probably gonna execute the royal family soon. Alright, that's been finished. You go back to there. Closed. Chinel Achebe publishes Things Fall Apart. Nigerian novelist Chinel Achebe this June has published the world's first internationally best-selling book by an African, Things Fall Apart, which tells the story of an Igbo named Okonokwam lives in Nigeria during the dawn of colonialism in the region. The book is an attempt to remove African literature from exclusively colonial points of view. We are building a story based on oral tradition and traditional African storytelling techniques in a way that will change literature in Africa forever. Things Fall Apart is on path to establish itself as the most famous book in African history, while Nigeria, the book impact is yet to take forward. A view of African culture for the whole world. I could have got a Soviet-supported aligned Ghana, so there's one thing. Anyway, next, create a roadmap for internal debt payment. Our initial repayment of internal debt was a good start, but we need to establish a solid plan for paying the rest of our debt back to the people. Though it is time, it might limit our spending of other affairs of the state, ensuring the continued solvency of our financial system and trust of our people is worth any price. Nationalization of Iraqi petroleum companies. 5 minutes remaining. For the Anglo-American owned Iraqi Petroleum Company, he exploited Iraq oil for its benefit, and the old regime were too dependent on the West and sought to accommodate the Iraqi Petroleum Company's interests. by negotiating agreements before the revolution. However, the new revolutionary regime under Prime Minister Abdul al-Karim Qasem decided the era of Iraqi subservience to the Iraqi Petroleum Company must end. The Prime Minister Qasem has demanded large stakes in the Iraqi Petroleum Company, and most of the profit goes to the Iraqi state. The Iraqi Petroleum Company refused, and in response, the Prime Minister directly directed a massive increase in tariffs. Today, the government has announced the enactment of a law number 80 to liberate Iraqi fuel territory from foreign exploitation. The new law seizes 99.5% of the land conceded to the Iranian Petroleum Company over the year by the old regime and halts new oil exploitation for Qasem or constipation will be given to the IPC, and the Prime Minister Qasem announced the land will be given to Iraqi farmers. In one move, he's weakened the Iraqi Petroleum Company, galvanized public support for the regime, and secured land to support the new government and land reform policy are lost to the West. Yeah, we've got the SSTV. The cryogenic rocket. That is the wrong thing. I need you. 3 minutes remaining. Felt like gone by minutes itself. Oh, the United Gulf Emirates. That's a weird thing. Formation of the United Gulf Emirates. During an elaborate ceremony in Qatar, the United Gulf Emirates had signed their independent document with the British officials. The ceremony brought all the various political leaders of the new states and senior British officials of the region. With this agreement, the former British protectorate and colonies of the Persian Gulf were united in one. Many believed the British hopes for a new nation will satisfy the aspirations of the people in these lands, but also preserve the relationship with Britain. And these areas, as the leaders were all kept in power by some British, some of them for many decades. The United Gulf Emirates itself believes the structure will allow its citizens to preserve their independence from regional powers and permanent players in the regional politics. A new regional power. So it's the UAE, but instead of just Abu Dhabi, Sanjari, Kasab, and Dubai, it's now all of the Gulf. So Qatar or Kuwait, Bahrain, Qatar, the UAE, Oman, and in South Yemen. This is going to be insane. It's could crush and burn hilariously, but it's also hilariously insane. The Flight of the Three Princes. King Ibn Saud, the founder of the Saudi Arabia, united Arabia with sword and close ideological alliance with the Wahhabi ulema. Since the kingdom has been run by the royal family, working in conjunction with the ulema, ensure all the laws obey God. In recent years, however, the popularity of Pan-Arabism espoused by President Gamal Nasser of Egypt spread across the Arab world. The royal family is not immune to this influence. A number of ideological young princes have united under the leadership of Prince Taral and call themselves the Three Princes in homage to Nasser's three officers. The young princes rally around Prince Taral, who brings up the need for more democratic reforms and a constitution to senior members of the family. However, the king and senior ulema no longer have patience for the three princes. They are called subversive, secret communists, and in some quarters are viewed as anti-Islam in their push for reforms and challenges to the Islamic character of the state. Some have their assets frozen. Most of the Three Princes fled the country in fear of prosecution of the government. Many have arrived in Lebanon and Egypt, broadcast a message against the Saudi state. Although the frequencies will raise mystery abroad, at least they will know all foment unrest within not just the kingdom but the royal family itself. Will change ever come to Saudi Arabia? Alexa, stop. So, and we no longer have any influence to know what's happening in you. I hope you're on Execute the Royal Family. That sounds terrible because I actually like monarchies, but still. You've nationalized your oil industry, which would be not that. It would be this. So probably doing something around this area. We're going to be back in space, I'm pretty sure around next video. So good for that. Our allies are reducing Soviet influence, announcing the 53 Soviet economic reports, embracing that's the thing from last time. You're improving relations with former allies. That's a lake. You're tolerating the FKGP, which is a conservative party. You're getting American surplus equipment. You're establishing Soviet naval bases. You're getting Soviet agricultural aid. You're getting industrial modernization. You're expanding agricultural development in northern Greece. You're coordinating with the French Communist Party or the Parti Communiste Français. You know, we have no idea what's happening in France, but we do know that Gaull's back. There's going to be a UN vote. Maybe. He's saying can't do anything, you can't do anything, you can't do anything. You're getting allows people's own forces. We have no idea, no idea, no idea. You're executing Hong Kai. We have no idea. Your vote is supposed to have happened already. No idea what's happening with you. No clue. You can't do anything. You're doing some economic stuff. You're on the way for becoming a communist nation. You can't do anything. So yeah, that's all. Next time, the Socialist Republic of Iran, because that's what its name's supposed to be now. Next, we're going to hopefully regain enough influence to see where we're at. But they're probably around this area. Hopefully they'll join the Warsaw Pact, or in this case, the Comintern. Next, we'll finish this. Probably get to maybe analyze the last 5-year plan. If this finishes and we manage to fin principal budgetary responsibility, if we can get far enough, we'll probably start the focus on application of Leninist principles. I doubt we're going to get to maintain unity of the Central Committee of Party apparatus or the 21st Communist Party of the Soviet Union Congress, but yeah, that's a next time problem. So, other than seeing the South of Arabia unite and communists in the Middle East increase, and have you chosen? You've chosen to reopen Pakistani diplomacy, so sadly no fun there. Anyway, the 60s are about to come. We're going to get a lot more stuff happening. Hopefully Cuba has a civil war. Or, sorry, not have a civil war, has a coup. Did I have a President Guerra? President Sterling? That doesn't sound at all. Anything? Or Communist Revolution. I very hope for Communist Revolution, as I'm playing the Soviet Union. I still do not know what the whole deal with this in South America was. I probably never will. But, hey, that's a problem for another time. Hope for Angola to rise up. and all the same. Have a good day, have a good night. This is Mountain Mountain signing off. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye.